oils. Anytime we feel a challenge with our immunity, turning to one of the floral oils is a good practice that you should pursue. Diffusing them into the environment, applying them topically, can be relaxing and calming to the body. And when we talk about relaxing, we're not just talking about the emotional states of the body. We're talking about the body being soothed in all contexts. We're talking about the central nervous system not only being in balance, but we're talking about appropriate function within those systems. So I love the floral oils in that capacity, but we have a notable absence from our floral oils. We have many floral oils at doTERRA, but we've never had a chamomile oil outside of Roman chamomile has been a little bit of a hit and miss for us. Sometimes oils pose some of these challenges for us. We currently have Roman chamomile, and it's a wonderful oil for us. The oils that we don't have and that we've not had as single oils is blue tansy and blue chamomile. Now, blue tansy is Moroccan chamomile, and blue chamomile is German chamomile. Blue tansy comes from Morocco, German chamomile comes from Germany. And they're interesting because we, although don't have them as a single oil, we do use them within some of our blends. It, for example, within the context of deep blue, is very powerful. Both of those essential oils, it's the responsible components of what makes that oil that beautiful blue-green color. But it's also present in balanced essential oil. It starts to give you some indication that, once again, essential oils are not singular in outcomes. We have multiples of outcomes. And here we have two blends that have two completely opposite positioning. And yet, both of them contain some similar essential oils. So let's look at the chemistry. We won't go too deep into it. We'll save that for tomorrow. Let's look at the chemistry. Now let's talk about blue tansy and German chamomile and Roman chamomile. Now it gets really interesting. We love Roman chamomile, right? We love that beautiful, fresh aroma that comes with it. It's comprised mainly of ester compounds. And ester compounds are deeply relaxing and soothing to the body. They're calming to the tissues. If I have an irritated tissue, or I have conditions that have happened because of overexertion, it's so hard to be compliant all the time, isn't it? Conditions that happen because of overexertion, I can apply Roman chamomile and it calms those tissues down, right? German chamomile is comprised completely opposite of almost all sesquiterpenes. In fact, it's all sesquiterpenes with the exception of just a very small amount of monoterpenes present. And then lastly, in blue tansy or Moroccan chamomile, it's interesting that we have almost all monoterpenes and then some sesquiterpenes that are present. Now, each one of them holds value, and each one of them holds a place. And so when we start making decisions about which essential oil and why, there's this broad discussion that happens. And one of the ways that we focus that or narrow that discussion is to start talking about intended benefit and outcome. And in this case, the chemistry that we're looking for is chemazoline. It's what I mentioned earlier, gives it that beautiful blue-green color. Far and above, there is a higher concentration of chemazoline in blue tansy than there is in any of the others. And so I'm pleased to introduce to you our new essential oil, blue tansy. Now I have to tell you, there's a little bit of a genesis with this essential oil. There's a lot of oils that we recognize that you would like to have and that we would like to have too. But we always need to follow our process. We just can't deviate from it. If we deviate from process, then we compromise quality. And process for us is what is availability and sustainability. It also includes what is the purity of that essential oil. It also includes what are the collection practices and methodologies associated with that. And then finally, it's the potency of that essential oil. One of the things that's difficult about blue tansy is how you have to source it. It's generally been a wild, crafted essential oil. Now, over the years, you've heard many different stories of how we have shared how we're changing the marketplace. We've done that largely through our co-impact sourcing models. Sometimes it's a refinement of process. Sometimes it's a development of new process. As a wild-crafted essential oil, although you get an essential oil that's certainly beautiful and would meet some of our standards, it doesn't meet any of the sustainability that we need, and so consequently it's difficult. We've been working for a long time now. We're happy to have partners who, for the first time that I'm aware of, have successfully cultivated blue tansy. You're saying, so what does that mean? What that means is that now we have a controlled environment for blue tansy for the first time in history. It means that we have sustainability of blue tansy, and it means we have the quality that we need in blue tansy. Now, there's some plants that we source. For example, lavender. If you plant lavender, it's a long-term commitment. It's not like I'm going to put lavender here this year and I'm going to try grain next year. Lavender is a regenerating plant, and it may last for 15 to 20 years, and you're going to harvest that same lavender plant over and over and over again. Blue tansy is not one of those plants, and that's why it's important that we found successfully a cultivation practice that allows us to do that successfully while we maintain all of our quality and potency standards. It takes, per hectare, just as a give you some reference, we'll plant about 3,500 seedlings per hectare. Over 5 million seedlings will be planted right now just for our current planned usage. Over 5 million seedlings will be planted every single year, beginning in the early parts of December and then cultivated in the late fall. Every single year we'll repeat that process. I hope that that's an indicator to you that doTERRA is untiring. We are unceasing in what we're willing to do to preserve and protect the good name of what you and I have experienced and want to share with essential oils. So, enjoy this. Now, very much like the others, I need to show you real quickly that it does have powerful benefits. I believe the primary benefits coming from this essential oil are going to be focused in what comes from its aromatic use and what will come from topical use of this essential oil. So you can see some of the things that very compliantly I've listed there for you. It's supportive of all of those things. Let me just instead give you some direction on how I think you need to use this essential oil. One, diffuse the essential oil. We already had some discussion about, although that's a simplistic model of use, you should never underestimate the value and power that comes from that. It will stimulate mood. Now, it will also, changes in mood, it will also be cleansing to the environment, as most essential oils are, but in particular, because this is primarily monoterpenes. So I want you to think of this as being cleansing for environmental threats, as well as cleansing for the environment as a whole. And then apply it topically. Now, there is no internal usage model associated with blue tansy. That doesn't mean that people don't do it, nor does it mean that there's not some historical data and research that would be suggestive of why you could or why you should. It does, however, mean that doTERRA is very compliant, and we're not going to supersede what we know to already be established through the GRAS list that is monitored and maintained very carefully. This does not fit into the GRAS list. So how would we use this topically? Let me give you a reminder that when we use the oil in places like on the bottom of our feet, we can have enhanced absorption, and we can have whole body effects that can come from that. We are not limited because we can't use an oil internally. It just means that we have to become more creative in the other two methods and maybe increase the frequency with which we do that. Now, I like it also for specific skin conditions. First off, it's a great beauty essential oil. I know, I see it in your eyes. You're saying, man, Dr. Hill's a beautiful man. I see it. I see it out there. Blue tansy, that's what's doing it. Think about this as a beauty oil, like you would any of the other beauty oils. Floral oils are good for the surface of the skin. Wood oils, resin oils are good for the underlying components of the skin. So think about it in that context. But a lot of times on the surface of the skin, we have very specific conditions that develop. We have irritation. Sometimes it is secondary to some type of a rash or some type of a a very specific circumstance. Other times it's a more global response. We have immune type responses within the body. We might have skin that develops irritation, that becomes cracked, that's itchy, and that's flaky. This is a great essential oil that you can use. You can apply it directly onto that surface of the skin, and it will be clarifying and support the body's natural ability to help that tissue to heal and to function properly in every context. I love this essential oil for its value for skin in all of its aspects and in all of its derivatives. So here's some simple ways, once again, just give you a few recipes of some of the things that I have found to be valuable. Use it in combination with lemongrass and marjoram or even cinnamon. When we use it to calm the tissues, if I've got tissue irritation that's secondary to some type of strenuous activity, for example, applying it directly to the tissues using one of those essential oils is powerful and very beneficial, and it has this warming as well as a cooling effect combination. And then combine it with cedarwood, frankincense, or geranium, thinking about, again, some of this skin application, some of this topical application. If I were wanting to use this on a regular basis, there was one other consideration that I think we should probably share with you. And it deals specifically with shemazoline. Now, shemazoline is a great essential, a great component within this essential oil, and it's what gives it the beautiful blue color. So let me ask you all a question. How many of you like the movie The Smurfs? Because I'm about to take you to Smurf Wonderland with this essential oil. Now, those of you who are familiar with blue tansy, maybe you've experienced this before, and if you haven't, you will. As you apply blue tansy, that beautiful blue shemazoline in this pure form can stain your skin blue. Permanently. No, it's not permanent. You thought, I know what you were thinking. You were thinking, that was the other piece of bad news. I can't use it after all. No, it doesn't. It's very, very temporary. First off, shemazoline does not naturally exist in the chemistry of the blue tansy plant. Instead, it's mattracine, still a monoterpene. But as it goes through the process of distillation, it changes. The heat and the pressure of distillation causes a chemical reaction to occur, and you have shemazoline. And shemazoline is valuable on its own context. It's deeply relaxing to the tissues. And it's very supportive of all of the healing processes that the body needs to undergo on a regular basis. So how do you use it safely then? First off, any staining that you have would be temporary and very short-lived. I had somebody in my office the other day, I let them try the blue tansy. I said, oh, wait, and they just put it all over. And I went, well, I guess we'll see how long this lasts. And it disappeared completely. It just disappeared completely. There was no blue color at all. And I went, that's remarkable. So I got some and I put it on, and my whole hand went blue. And not like bright blue, not Smurf blue, just kind of a bluish tone. And so I looked at my hand and I looked at their whole arm, and I said, you know what that means, right? And they said, no. And I said, it means I'm healthy and you're not. That's exactly what it means. I was a little jealous, I was a little envious. So let me give you some ways that you can control this. Now let me tell you, if you're going to use this for beauty, and I recommend that you do, this would be a night application. Even though, oh come on, it's not that bad. You're gonna love this oil. Even though it won't last for long, that would be a good way to think about beauty. But here's some ways you can greatly diminish that potential. So first, consider diluting the essential oil. Emily's going to be speaking in a little bit. I think she's going to talk a little bit about diluting, so we'll just leave that for her. Add 1 or 2 drops into the doTERRA skincare, or your favorite lotion that we have, or blend it with other essential oils. Not only do you get enhanced benefits, but you're going to greatly diminish any potential for that. So don't be fearful of it. You're going to love this essential oil. And let me introduce to you quickly just one more essential oil. Now let me talk with you about the endocannabinoid system within the body. Yes, I know the other group got very excited.